Good morning, everyone. Welcome to HRL 503. This is your course on performance management. My name is Dr. Kayla Fulmer, and I will be your instructor for the next 8 weeks. I am really looking forward to this course. I enjoy teaching the content, and it's content that I think students really relate to because most of you are currently working. Almost all of you have experienced some kind of performance review during your life, even if it's not necessarily in a formal job setting, but even receiving a grade in a class is a kind of performance management system. So often, this content is fun to talk about because it can create lots of opinions and feelings. And at the same time, it's relatable to students and to their experiences because they've sat through a performance review, or maybe they've never had a performance review and they should have. And we like getting feedback, and we like opportunities to grow as human beings. So I'm hoping that you'll take a lot from this course and that you'll be able to walk away with better insight about how to manage performance and how to do so in a way that is fair and is accurate and better supports decisions down the road in other kind of HR functions. One thing I will say is that this course is not about how to improve performance per se. So there are other courses that exist in HR and in management that focus more on leadership or organizational behavior and motivation. So this course isn't about how to get your employees to perform better, but how in general we assess performance and how do we figure out if an employee is doing a good job. What does it mean to do a good job or not a good job? How do we make those determinations, and how do we rate people, and then what do we do with that information? So I think by and large, sort of the big takeaways from this class will be that you need to do things in a structured way, and that when we create a standardized, sort of systematic approach to measuring performance, we reduce error, we cut out a bunch of the noise, and we get better results, which then enables us to make better decisions for our employees and for our workforce. So, performance management actually intersects quite a bit with other areas of HR. Considering, staffing and who we bring in. Well, we only know who to bring in if we currently know where everyone is performing. And if we have a good system for determining performance, then we can see where the gaps exist. And that will help us better bring in people to fill those gaps. We could also see where training gaps might be. So we have sort of a skill shortage. In particular, we see this kind of revolutionary shift of the workplace with AI, and we know a lot of employees are hesitant to use AI. So what that means is organizations, if they capture that in a systematic way, they can figure out what employees need to know in order to upskill to meet the demands of their job. So it can help with training. It's really important for compensation decisions. So if we want to give somebody a raise, we need to figure out how do we determine what's a fair way to give a raise. We could give everybody a raise, and while that might seem fair in some way, that means some people who have underperformed will get a raise. And it also means people who are overperforming might not get compensated to, sort of equitably to their contributions. And that can lead to dissatisfaction and resentment. So performance management is really important for making decisions about compensation. And also for succession planning. How do we know who the next leaders will be? How do we know who the next sort of rising stars are? If something happens to our current leadership team, who is ready to jump in and take their role? And if nobody is currently ready, well, performance management helps us, again, recognize that. And then we have to make a determination. Do we have somebody within our ranks that we could train and mold and mentor to get them ready? Or do we need to maybe consider externally candidates and who might be a good fit? So performance management it's really important. It's really fascinating, and and it's changing based on technology, based on trends in the marketplace. More than ever, performance management is helpful as we're making decisions about employees and layoffs and cuts. And it's an unfortunate reality right now that the job market's a tough place, and organizations are cutting jobs. And how do they make those determinations? Well, if you don't have a performance management system and you're just making cuts based on gut feelings, chances are you might be losing some really key contributors. So don't want to undersell the importance of performance management. And I hope that you find that the content is enjoyable and interesting, right? Like you're here for 8 weeks, and yes, you have to learn it, but I hope along the way you actually find it interesting and that it makes your brain think. And even if you leave this course and you never use the material ever again, I hope while you're in it, you're at least asking some questions and saying to yourself, well, I never thought about that before. And that is interesting and valuable in and of itself. And that's why I love learning and I love teaching, because I'm constantly asking and considering things that I never have asked or considered before. And maybe I don't care that much about personally, but it is fun while you're in it in the moment. And to be able to share that experience with peers who are also asking these big questions at the same time. So this semester is quick, right? We're taking a course that I typically teach in 16 weeks, and we're shrinking it down to half that time. I have tried to reduce some of the workload so that you're not doing 16 weeks worth of assignments. That's just not possible, and seems somewhat fair or unfair and difficult and overwhelming for those of you that are working and balancing other life responsibilities. So it's still fast, and there's still a lot of assignments, and you'll have weekly things to do. But I have tried to reduce the amount of work so that it fits kind of within this framework of 8 weeks. So overview, we'll do some quizzes just to make sure that students are doing the reading. There will be some discussion assignments. You can share with each other ideas that you have. There will be some case studies where we'll read what's happening in certain organizations, or have an opportunity to practice applying some of these concepts in like a workplace context that's not necessarily your own. And we'll have an opportunity to do some little mini assignments throughout as we go, just to check your knowledge, make sure you're sort of seeing the big picture or picking up on nuance of these assignments and concepts. So there's a lot of fun to be had. I'm really excited to be with you. For now, basically the lay of the land is I'll post your modules on Monday, and all of the work will be due by Sunday evening. And listen, I'm a reasonable human being and I care about your well-being. So if you find that Sunday is a bit of a squeeze and you'd rather the assignments be due Monday, let me know. Again, I'm reasonable. We're here to work together. I'm here to, help you learn. At the end of the day, what I care most about is that you're learning and that you're doing the work. We do have to have deadlines because we need work to be submitted, right? At some point, there has to be a deadline. And it's helpful that we, have everything submitted week by week so students don't get too far behind and work doesn't start to build up. But we can be flexible if you start to feel like Sunday night, maybe all of your classes have homework due Sunday night and that feels a bit stressful. Let me know, and we will work together to find a solution. So for now, everything kind of opens on Monday. Everything is due by Sunday. This week that we're in right now, not a whole lot due, just an introduction discussion post to ease you into things. And then next week is spring break. So I've set this week up so that you can check out the eCampus. You can introduce yourself, online introduction. There is a pre-course survey I'd like you to take. Please do not try to study for it. Please do not try to look up the answers. I really want to assess your baseline knowledge, and it's okay if you don't know anything, and it's wonderful if you know lots of things. It's just an assessment of what you know, and you get points for completion. You're not graded on accuracy. So that's those two things. So I guess 3 things. Check out eCampus, complete the discussion post, take the pre-course survey, and get a copy of the textbook, which looks like this. Performance Management. I should show you the whole thing so it's not in a glare, by Herman and Guinness. Awesome text. It has lots of checklists and guidelines, and I think it could be a really valuable tool for those of you that plan to go into performance management or who are already in performance management for your careers. So get a copy of the text. So you have this whole first week is just easing you in. I know it's been like a mad rush, right? These 8-week courses are difficult, and I know spring break is coming, so I don't want you to be in the weeds and like drowning in work to do and then shift to spring break and this, that, and the other. So you'll see we have some work due. I will post the module for after spring break, and then that way if you want to work ahead, you certainly can. And at any time, if you have questions, please just send me an email. I'm happy to meet by Zoom. I can meet almost any day at different times. I can work with you, and I'm here to help you and support you, and I want you to learn, and I want it to be just a worthwhile semester. And as you can tell, it's a sunny day. we're headed into spring. The clocks have changed. We're basking in sunlight. It's been a tough winter, I think, in terms of, if you're not from Morgantown, the snow, the cold, the sickness. It's just been a wild time. So we're all sort of like emerging, the butterflies from our cocoons, and I'm glad to be on that journey with you all. So have a wonderful week ahead. If you're confused about anything, if you don't know where to start, if there's any way I can support you, please just ask. Chances are, if you have a question, somebody else has a question as well. So we're all in it together. I look forward to getting to know you more in the coming weeks and getting to interact with you and learn from you and alongside you. So let's have a wonderful start to the semester. Have a great start to the week. We'll be in touch soon. Bye.